try a song by Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm putting it on YouTube as well.
Like live stream, you mean?
I'm live streaming, yeah.
Okay. Usually we don't do it, but
Geshe-la asked me to.
to live stream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eu coloquei maca, o que tá cheio é maca, tá? Qual pote, amor? Um é gengibre e outro é maca. Tem um com maca também? Desculpa, então. Eu vou mandar 3.000 lá para tua conta, tá? E daí também, já que ela mandou aquela moça, a Rosane mandou o Pix, porque daí já faço aqui.
Today, it's a special occasion because we're celebrating the 35th anniversary of the Nobel Peace Prize that was given to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So we're celebrating that occasion and we welcome you here. And today we're going to do first we're going to be doing some prayers and then a short talk on love and compassion, and after that a meditation on love and compassion. So thank you everyone for being here. Welcome. So first, he recited a prayer that commemorates the earning of the Nobel Peace Prize that His Holiness the Dalai Lama attained. He recited a prayer that I can't recite because he just read it off, so I can't recite that. But first, what we're going to do is offer a butter lamp in commemoration. So now for the next 15 minutes, Geshe-la is going to give a brief talk on love and compassion. Then we will have question answer period for about 20 minutes, and then we will meditate on love and compassion together.
Tete zote kaza namke, leche na so jeda tatu, tate zote kenda rabe, genze se jo se mo jije, chana pe mo jela dese, taso nyamke se se tame, kaje chobe ramye, kezo jojo janzo tarse, mejo se je jere jela, tete loa mebe demba, Dake la so ta bien to do, mon bien to que te la yo sa je lo ya, je de sa je con bo je ma san bo, sa je pe ma je pa dan ja je ma, da na je de ke ve ta shi to bo. Tende chora mayo, jute sana chasho nato mincho, chute tamba chigo nala shiche, dana jute give chashi nivao. Chute tupe chashi, ato mato nama yiti chubien, choji chora mocha shito purties, dana jute give chashi sombao. Namje chashi sho, yata la so namje chashi sho, mato kanko namje chashi sho, chujo soma namje chashi sho. Kore shangaso, pedo dewa mali chove, jere sumo tenze jaso, shabe sente pardo tenjo chu. Rembo che pate pala tenjo, jeba nyanga meba, kone konde pewe sho. Ruboche madhya pana jidya jeba nyamba meba kone konta mewasho yoga lama tantrame chudya pala lamje sata lamje yoga rato duje choke kongo nyurgosho.
So, tanzara nibade. Chamsi nyasi lense kura, lopchuka na chuma, kama chia chamsi. Janchu wangi zenza kirchi vodaka jini, toto yena vime zikabli, toto jabari maki ungu suwandi, jien choto ngu kangi toni, taktiringi nimo tele ya, ane jikten shimdi debo, chonal konsa kyangwa chimbo chole ya, Norway jikten zinta brishin mano sinju sorngam korbi, tijan sumsa, tele ya dini chernuga bebi, kyangde gendanga dedang, ane namba su tsangma le ya, ane tomar tala nga su shibde dang, arong kyo tsangmi ngoni, tsamri trashi tele shuya yin.
First of all, once again, I'd like to welcome you all in this occasion where we're commemorating the 35th anniversary of the giving of the Peace Prize to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Welcome all the geshes, the Genlas, welcome everyone, and welcome all of you also here today.
Yeah. 다 지당이 전에 가서 보바세야 디가 내 땅다 하진 딱 교지 차대요래. 아니 야나 말고 쉬운게 딱 제는 거 올이야. 내가 저 사자당 참아도 라와 참아도 초니 디리로 내 땅지 차대요래. 하진 딱 교지 초지. 나 초지니 가는 이거는 오늘 전에 디디기 디치 손스 디리 그냥 쳐버리지. zam니 쉽디가 어디니 지금 따마시 되니 디리기 디치 손스 제지 요바대양 가서 하진 거
The situation in Tibet at the moment is very, very bad since the Tibetan people are under the rule, the forceful rule of the Chinese Communist government. So in that sense, we're in a very bad situation because we Tibetan people have no freedom whatsoever. But then in another way, we are very fortunate people because we have His Holiness the Dalai Lama who also received this Peace Prize.
Yeah. Dine sonsa ta devi ni modele yang so chi
j'étais sentant pour une montant, parce que Gerki que tu rawang que nous c'est au dîner de tu sens et à partir de ça, au dîner sont à dîner quand ça parle de gagner, année j'étais que ça va chancer pour les année du tu as gagné.
So in a way, we can say that we're both commemorating the getting of the Peace Prize of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the wish for freedom for the Tibetan people and Tibet. So in order to celebrate that, we're going to give a brief talk on love and compassion.
Yeah. And number so la di ko la shu ka le nge don se shi do ji to ni di ju bo sang so. Dong bo de le ya ka re ji ngo so mo shi sang bo ge za wa yang na de ki ge za wa jan se yin bi ko chi chi dong bo de.
And I thought I would give this talk, dividing it in 4 main points. The first one is that the root of happiness is compassion.
Ni ba de ka re ji de ka la ani ji jam se ge pen yu jam se ge ka don da ka re ji de ka la pen yu ka re yo pen do ka re yo se.
The second point are the benefits. What are the benefits of cultivating love and compassion?
Somba de jam se gum sar da ma de jam se ngo che ani shi ba de jam se gum sur odini don se shi go ni.
The third point would be what is the essence or what is the nature of love and compassion. And the fourth point, how do we meditate on love and compassion?
Yeah. 다 당보들 가서 가르 신고도 시디가나 맞아 처음에 샘진지 이미 전에 가서 류지 대화데 야고고 요래라 차버데 아마서 미제야데 인송자 맞아 류지 대화 잠고 주기요 말아 류심 니가 그 대화다 가서 고고 요래.
Now we go to the first point, and the first thing we have to know is that since we're sentient beings, we all wish to experience physical well-being, physical happiness or physical well-being. But since we're human beings, not just sentient beings, human beings, physical pleasure or physical well-being, it's not enough. We need to experience both physical and mental well-being.
Yeah. 당아서 리지 대화도 주 제셔도 가르쳐 저로 벤조를 되니 용토그 요래. 임바이나 가서 샘그 되기자데 니 주자자자 담바 처럼을 때니 용 투고를 외즈나 땡이 봐요 말에.
And the way to experience physical well-being is through material wealth, through external material wealth. But we cannot attain mental well-being. It cannot come 100% from external means.
다 샘그 되기 용비 탑시 멍보요리 임바이나 디나니장 아주 지 탑시 야쇼도 가르해지 잠바도 제와자데 차되요리.
And whilst we can find many different methods to experience and cultivate mental well-being or mental happiness, out of all of them, the best one is to cultivate love and compassion.
그래서 좀 자본이래 양장리 쉽게 고그래서 이게 전부 지니께 롱바간 자고요. 델레디니 자본이 쉽게 용도만. 양가시 베멘다 기능 아절라 데키 고고요. 다 데키 용하다 안스니 미 파쇼들에 양 통종다 남을죠. 델레디니 바이나요. 쉽게 용도도 요라도 치리치리도도.
And nowadays we can see in the world that people want peace and just write peace on a big banners and they make banners saying we want world peace, but just by writing world peace we cannot attain world peace. And other people, they try to force peace into being by holding guns and forcing other ones to be peaceful, and with these means the problems just grow bigger and bigger.
당아로서 10대 용어를 레와치 가르잡사 요래서 디가나 당아서 잠바당 세와서 머리고리가 돈에 때려야 로종도 냠내 제토바이나 당원이 돈담병아서 아니 잠디 10대 용어 토비야.
But somewhere where we can posit our hopes, where we can really hope for, is if we individually, we all cultivate love and compassion, we study love and compassion, and we practice love and compassion, then we can really hope for peace.
Yeah. 그래서 지금 마상 나로라 임바이나요. 아니 지금 주주때 마상도 되게도 되면 지 용어 제발이야. 가르고 그래지 디가 나미도서 상마도 되지. 셈바상보 셈바로로 임바이나 되게 다나신 이유도.
And we can see this in the context of the family. For if all the members of a family, if they want to experience well-being when they're in the other's company, if they want to experience peace, if they all cultivate a good heart, then a relaxed mind and a good heart, then they will experience well-being amongst them.
너르디 샤바이나 지다니 치모 가르송도 스디가나 삼바상나 사당 라미양 상 삼방엔나 사당 라미양 녜스 탐지 삼바달라 라르비 남양 삼바산람 바퍼는 셀즈 당아솔 domjam니 딘데 송고 니버터 지 삼바상가 돈이 가솔야 대바다 드물세야 용고요 송산 지당 넘버 군도 삼바상부 제고 그래 송고다.
And there's this master's Jilama Tsongkhapa says he has this saying or this verse where he says, if we cultivate a good heart, or if our mind is positive, then the bhumis and the paths will be positive. And if the mind is negative, then the bhumis and the path will be negative. Therefore, I will never abandon a good heart or a good mind.
Yeah. 미상부 제아데 보상부 부모상부 당아도 상부 부상부 부모상부 용거와 부상부도 부모상부 제아데 벤줄 첨부 임바 잠기 미바 요레베 요말 연대 첨부이나 상부 임빙이 범미도 다지 고사 첨부 부모 첨부들이 임바이나 상부 임빙이 봐 요말에 당원이 그 미상부 부상부 부모상부 제아데 주 가를 때니 용고 그래서나 상바상부 라티니 부상부 부모상부 제아데 용고요래 대인 소상 가서 참미가 더니 단지 삼바상부 해야 돼. 디나니 잠바다 세와야 돼. 냠냠이 버도 제고요.
And all of us here wish to become good people. We want to be a good woman, a good man, a good person. And becoming a good person does not depend on how much money we have or how much power we have. Rather, being a good person depends on the state of our minds. Therefore, if we want to become a good person, we need to cultivate love and compassion.
Yeah. 다 니바다 가려요래. 맞어. 되니 잠시 그 팬요도 가려요래. 아 사직은 노고 나노라 지가로송어래. 지디가 아니 추지 랑터드 치나 추담지 랑터드 되니 치소스. 아 추지고데 가이즈나 에 니지 치모래. 되니 송고요래. 다 저런 추 마음보라 장마토나 디게레스. 추 마음보 냠레 제마토나 디게레스. 주 제셔도 가라서 잠바다 세와도 저런 냠레 야보지 데라 로종 야보지 데 냠레 야보 제바이나 아니 지금 냠내 잠바 상마도 디나라 레비용 그래스 어디니 송도 거기대
비실라던데 도치
가자 추지 가자 다 양데 식당에 로고요 대가로 추지 랑들 신나 말했대 동바 가자 다 양데 자기 땅부터 산다 가로 너네 가자 추지 랑들 치나 추탐제 랑들도 치소스 다 돈다 라비나를 요래서 보다 근데 추지보다 가르는 이제래서.
So now we're going to the second point, and the second point is the benefits of love and compassion. And there is this verse which I cannot recite exactly as Geshe-la recited it because I don't know it by memory, but what it comes to say is that if you want to drink from all waters, you can drink from one source of, like drinking one source of water is like drinking from all the sources of water. And what this means is that even if we cannot study all of the text, if we cannot study all of the topics, if we cannot put every single type of practice into practice, if we practice love and compassion, is like practicing all of the practices or like studying everything that there is to study.
아니 양치 가르송 거래에서 내가 디자와 니진도스 가르서 내가 저 남진의 장주고 셈다 다집에 장주 셈바다 장주고 셈들이 뭐뭐 송야 요리 이마이나 또 참막강 종사도 가르진 니지 침벌에 되니 중고 요리에 송고.
Then there is another verse, another quote that says, the root of this is compassion. And this comes in the context of the mind of enlightenment or bodhicitta. We're always constantly talking about bodhicitta and developing bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment. But here what it says is that if we want to develop the mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, we need to cultivate its root. And the root of bodhicitta is compassion.
당아서 딘디 몸보 시고무도 베나 여르무지 랑아서 빼샤바이나 르와 다름살아 땅 달리라마 세디가나 추케 레멜레 참아 가보지기도 대 가르치니 제오래 코 미즈다니 말해 코 벤저 체다니 말해 가르레라바이나 콩레 타모마이비 야다 아디니 냠렌지 가리오레 세디가나 제자 닌지에서 냠렌 식체무요 송자 참아 콜레 란싱가 가무치니 콜레 데지 지가 알아다 지 차다 딘디라이나 데지 섬사라다 데지 섬사라나 빼 기우시고 데지시고 용거로와 대용야 수 가르레라이나 콜레 수 잠색 냠렌지 식체무요 송자 텔테니 용거 디니바 텔테.
But we don't have to give many explanations. We can just look at the example of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Whenever someone thinks of Dharamsala and thinks of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, everyone feels happy to listen about the Dalai Lama or thinking about the Dalai Lama. And why is this? Is this because His Holiness is especially handsome? Or is it because because he has a lot of money and is rich? Is not because of that. It's rather because he cultivates a very specific practice, and that's the practice of compassion. And that's why whenever someone has the chance either to have an audience with His Holiness or touch His Holiness, they become very, very happy. It's because of his own practice of compassion.
Yeah. 어때 나시 나루초이 마이나야 잠세라 로종지 냠네 제바이나 콩데 집에 직장 차야가 누바당 사보는 가서는 요래다.
And if we practice love and compassion, we can also develop the same practice, the same mental state as His Holiness the Dalai Lama, because we have the potential to do so. The seed of love and compassion is within us.
단 너르디 샤바이나 니 넘버 졸래야 잠세가 니바자데 가르요레 시디가나 디디지 송구도 괜찮 서로로 주고 아니 단나 랍자지가 나나 가르송 요레 노르탄 락서 원차니스 레니 간도 코르토 강고 타쇼 셈기지 셈라 로톤 담슈 구스 담도 디장게디 지금 되어 가르레 라바이나 소소가 지금 노르제 노르페 롱주식 침보요바 락서 약보요바 원차 식침보요바 간이지 이마이나 도소소 야가 졸라 베죠당 네가 졸라 베죠당 가라 인나 베죠당 요레스 야가 졸도 네가 졸니가 베죠당 요레스.
So there is another master called Kinchen Tsering Lodop, and he said, Geshe-la cited a quote, which I don't know by heart, but he explained what the quote says, and the quote says that we might have a lot of money, might have a lot of wealth, we might have many abilities, and we might have a lot of power. And if we have power, if we have abilities or skills, and we have money, we can use it in a positive way, or we can use it in a negative way. They can be either used for good or for bad.
아야, 다 대야 졸라 베죠당다 네가 졸라 베죠당다 주도 가르레스 네가 미디가 상로라 라리요레스. 상로 상보지 요바이나 소소 원차당 로 노노주라 소바 야가 졸라 베죠당그리 라시 사마라 펜도 요바지라 베죠당그레스. 다 소소가 삼로데 드가지 마토메와이나 엔토소 베조로 과타요 그레스.
And then what he comes to say is that if we use it in a positive way, it depends on our mind. If we have a good mind, if we have a good heart, we will use our power, our money, and our skills to benefit others. But if we don't have good thoughts, if we don't have a good mind, then we will use our power, our money, and our skills to harm others. So it all depends on the mind.
대리선영아서 자물리를 따와이나 야급 소소고 고트가 나로라 빼 드라마다 마야 드라마다 제대니 디니도 코솔라 연데 요레 원차 요레 이마이나 원차도 빼 아랑기라 샴팜 삼로 짱짱 토니 안 빼줘라고 토니 단 자물리를 강에 소도 무스 강에 소사도 야급 진이지 라파 무스 어마트 강에 용거리 이나 디 강에 처음만 좀 자물리를 강에도 차용 거다 내가 소양 사자마지.
And we can see nowadays there are many people, men in power, who have many skills and they have a lot of power, but they use it to fare war on other countries and to harm other people because they're only thinking about their own victory and making others lose. So they just want to win and want to make others lose. So even though normally the wars are among 2 or 3 countries, this has a negative effect on the whole planet.
제가 뒤에서 뒤 나오는 가성도 지금 강고 탁쳐 셈기지 나서 남가 삼로 다 삼바 삼보지 요바이나 디스나니 좀 잠바다 세와세한테 야보지 요바이나 그런 거 가라 요바데 라onyel야 펜도 요바 잔달야 펜도 요바 지금 돌아야 다다 지 배조 당그리야 송고.
Therefore, if we cultivate a good state of mind, healthy state of mind, such as love and compassion, this will always be of benefit both for self and for others.
다 오늘 가서 셈상다 녀세야 될래야 지금 로소세는 민도 가서 뒤가 로종도 가와니 랭고레스나 다 용체모도 소니 가서 로종 제고 요레스.
So if we want to learn how to avoid the cultivation of negative minds and how to cultivate positive states of mind, we should study the great texts, the great treatises.
장바당 제와자 내가 좀 남이숑 짱짱 말이다. 자물링의 출이 용수 조비 가르래야지. 장바당 제와자 니버도 고운도 때 야기 당고도 때 냠는 제고우스니. 아 참이 뺏기 첨부진의 송구도. 맞sol라 카요 라요 그 무슨 디나로라야 데기 용야가 자와드 가차 되고래야지. 잠세게 니발레 되니 차거. 잠세게 고 가자 니밤 디그 쉽게라 되니 데기도 용 두고요.
But not only Buddhist treatises, not only Buddhist texts, we can find instructions on how to develop love and compassion in the texts of all religions. All religions speak about the need to further develop our state of love and compassion because it has a practical benefit for this life. If we cultivate love and compassion, we will feel happier in ourselves and we will make others happier in this life. So it has a practical benefit.
Yeah. 단 내가 손바도 잠세고 뭐못 다 되는지 못 가서 뒤서 매일 손단데 남서래 다 잠세고 가서 세면시라 데려 샘전 탐지 대화다 대위규 다 덴버 kir치자 또다 무과 샘전 간이 지라무니 이바 여러시 샘전 참말라무니 대다라 대화 다다다 덴버쇼 덴버 kir치 데나 저마롱 냐미 디니고 로직래야 아니 잠바스.
So now let's move on to the nature or the essence of love and compassion, otherwise we won't have enough time to cover everything. So if we look at the four immeasurables says that love is the mind that wishes happiness and the causes of happiness for all sentient beings. So the mind that thinks, may all sentient beings be happy and have the causes of happiness. I wish for all sentient beings to have happiness and the causes of happiness. I will make all sentient beings happy and grant them the causes of happiness. That is the mind of love.
다 잠바다 니제니가 무바데 찍바제 다 남바데 가려요래지 다게 잠바가 대wan 타다다 말쇼 닌지 무 가려야지 샘제 간이지 바이나 대다 등원 타다다 드라이버쇼 드라이버 kir치 드나 제마롱 드르트바 다기 자원이 어디니가 아니 배세와 차버 전진라 닌지에서 거래.
The focal object of both love and compassion is the same because they both focus on sentient beings. However, the aspect that they take is different because love focuses on the happiness and the causes of happiness of sentient beings, whereas compassion focuses on alleviating the suffering of sentient beings. So compassion is the mind that thinks, may all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of happiness. I wish for all sentient beings to be free from suffering and the causes of happiness. I will free sentient beings from suffering and the causes of suffering.
다 시바다가서 투시셔도 잠세 냠설 렌서는 누구도 잠세 곰서들.
Then we move on to the fourth point, which is the main point. How do we practice or how do we meditate on love and compassion?
예시 전부 저와리 전지가 나오는 가르친 것도 다당 젠덤 냠반 담보니트 바테 곰스 대당 등을 냠비나 탐지다시 송으로 자 송도 돈다 가르 디가 시가 담보데 가르친 거래 라시 샘제 탐지 찍바래 라시 샘제 탐지 찍바래.
So in relation to this, Shantideva, a master called Shantideva, says that we must conceive self and other as equal. So we must see that that self and the other are the same. We're exactly the same.
다 라시 샘제 탐지 찍바래. 내가 소스부 체종 찍바래 라고 말해. 벤줄 체종 찍바래 라고 말해. 노야로 찍바래 라고 말해 돼. 디오들 가는 다다션 담보니도 대당 등을 냠비나 송도 대반 도바 등을 먼저 방아서 참아 찍바래. 어디 나서 라보레라 가는 라보레스 대반 도바 등을 먼저 찍바래.
However, here Shantideva is not saying that we're all the same in size, because obviously we're not. We're not the same in how much money we have in our bank account, and we're not the same on how pretty or ugly we are. We're all different in that sense. We are the same in the sense that we all wish to be happy and none of us wish to suffer. In that sense, in the wish for happiness and the not wishing of suffering, we're exactly the same.
Yeah. Deni yensonsa ranji sama dewan doba dingol mon doba yensonsa cheja sosola dewa gowadan dingol mo gowa nashin semche kandi chila yimba yenaya kolaya dewa go yore dingol go mare sambi samno dingi barda tango yores.
Therefore, what we must think about is that just like I wish to be happy And just like I do not wish to suffer, others, just like me, wish to be happy and do not wish to suffer. And this is the first thought we have to cultivate.
제가 잠바다 세워 공급이 점선도 빼야 보도 점선 가르는 라신 상마 대원도 봐 등원도 봐 찍바래. 대인 손상 알아 요하고 등원 먹고 하나씩 커야 집을 코 찍바 상마도 서로가 되듯 찍바요 손상 대원도 봐 등원도 봐 찍바요 손나서 소소라 손죽 제와나시 장달에 되나시 제고 그래. 데리다.
So this is a great reason to want to cultivate love and compassion, because just like I wish to be happy and others don't wish to suffer, just like I wish to be happy and do not wish to suffer, others wish to be happy and also do not wish to suffer, because we all have the same feelings of pleasure and pain. Therefore, we all wish to be happy and none of us wish to suffer. Therefore, I should protect, just like I protect myself from suffering, I should protect others also from suffering.
당한서 니제 고명비 까블이야. 저런서 니제도 봐쇼 뺀다 단다 jar무지 거버리도 니제 있어야 돼. 니네 파샤니 소소 니네 니제를 파다 되나 호 니제도 자 침보리 지지지 니네 공야요 말다. 다 가르 공고리지 다기 가서 뭐 잡아나지 소소로도 니제 뭐야 깨고 다기 점선도 가라서 대원도 봐 등원도 와 가서 직관해서 샘체까지 지해봐야 대다 탐제라 대원 타다다 대머리 쇼 대머리 kirchi dena chimaro da dili jang semshik te chikchya kin den thoba de kola dewa ta yoma de ngeji che thoba jegins da dumala ya chibar dumol thada da driver show driver kirchi dena chimo tre thoba de da ki chau sam dili che samlo tang de na ni je gomari chambo gomari boy.
So when we're meditating, we shouldn't meditate as if compassion was outside of oneself, and we're looking at compassion as if we're here and compassion or love is there, and we're just looking at it and saying, oh, this is such a valuable state of mind, I need to cultivate this state of mind, as if it was something separate from oneself. Rather, we should turn our own mind into that. We should turn our own mind into the nature of compassion. And the reason that we use is that we all wish to be happy and none of us wish to suffer. Therefore, we start by cultivating, may all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of happiness. I wish for all sentient beings to be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And then if we feel a little bit more courageous, a little bit braver, then we can say, I will free all sentient beings from suffering and the causes of suffering. And this is the same for love. We just turn around the aspect and we change the aspect and we say, may all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. And then if we feel brave, we can say, I will make all sentient beings happy and make them have all the causes of happiness.
야, 나가 좀 냠도 고민이다. 저런 또 당보지. 아니, 니 막히야요. 아니, 니제 고민도 니 막히지. 냠도 고민이다. 야.
So we're going to meditate together on love and compassion. Please keep a straight back. Don't fall asleep, okay? Let's meditate together.
야, 당보들라 아니 라진 상마 대원도 그물도 직관이 사마로 삼로 그때 대해서 감 가지리는 고민이다.
So for a few minutes, let's think about the way that we all wish to be happy, so we're the same, and none of us wish to suffer. Let's think about that for a few minutes.
대원도 등원도 지와의 손상 가 semchekani chi ma da chi ba 대원도 손상 지나라 대하고 하나지 semchekani chi ma 대원 타다도 데미쇼 kirchi 데나 치마 냐바 치고.
And now meditate on the fact that just like I wish to be happy, others also wish to be happy, just like me. Therefore, may all sentient beings, may all others experience happiness and the causes of happiness. Let's meditate on that.
텔레테스 semshik cheziki 대원 타다도 던터바도 니지 사만.
And now, if we want to practice some bravery or courage, we can also think, I will make all sentient beings happy and bring them the causes of happiness.
단대난시 안에 셈제간이 지이마이나 안에 등원 모두바에 성장하다 싶어요 성장 등원 다다다 제거시고 제거를 끼지 전나지 뭐 아니 뭐지
And now, let's think about the fact that I do not wish to suffer. And just like I do not wish to suffer, there is no sentient being that wishes to suffer. Therefore now, let's meditate thinking, may all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes. I wish for all sentient beings to be free from suffering and its causes.
셈식 끼니 셈식 탐지 등원 다다다 절도바데 다기죠 뭐 지고죠.
Now we can intensify our courage by thinking, I will free all sentient beings from suffering and the causes of suffering.
단신전 타다 네 타다다 대원 타다다 대마 능우 타다 제와디 지에토와디 단단한 니본도에 니본도 이마 있나요? 나 딘디가 니바다 되면 강사지 차야요 니버도나 딘디가 니바다 되면 강사지 자기 삼비 셈식지.
However, when I think about it, I realize that now, at present, I do not have the power to free all sentient beings from suffering and its causes, and to make all sentient beings happy and give them the causes of happiness. However, there is the possibility of becoming that person exists. Therefore, now let's develop the determination to become that person. I'm going to become the person with that power.
일주일 동안 삼노다마이나 아주 드리사니 고치진 돈이 지금 미망 강에 세트려다 미망의 대기트 트위치 남이버도 봄모지 미망이 봄모지 세미삼 셈식지도 어디 나신도 직성도는.
And we can think about this determination by way of an example. And nowadays, presidents of countries have the power to influence the lives, influence positively the lives of the citizens of their country, and to alleviate the suffering of the citizens of the country. So just as they have this inner power and this external power, I also am going to develop this power.
That's all.
And we finish here the meditation.
Chanju Sunjo
Maji Pana Kiyo Shikira Meba Mebaya Konai Guru Beva Sho.
So now we're going to leave some space for questions. So if you have any questions about this, either on Zoom or here, you can ask anything you want.
Question? No. No question. Oh.
My English is not good, so
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué, chica?
speak slowly. In Korea, nowadays there is very confusing situation, and some of trouble is about women and men, and disabled people or normal people. Women fight about the woman empowering, for women empowering, and disabled people want to get their rights. But normal person and men see this situation like violent.
Okay.
Yeah, but they didn't mature first, but men or normal people feel that it's violent. But for all of the peace, they have to speak their some voice. They need their voice to out, but other people feels that it's violent. Yeah, it's not good. In the simple way, in the world there is someone's suffering, someone's happy, maybe, and someone's suffering and someone's happy, like this. So how can we if I'm a disabled person or a woman, so how can I make a voice, or how can they make their voice to others in a peaceful way? That's my question.
Okay. I'll repeat the question in English so people on Zoom can listen. And you can check if it's correct, if I understood correctly. So what I understood is that your question is, at the moment there is a confusing situation in Korea where disabled people and women are protesting for the rights, yeah? However, men and able people, they see this protest as violent. So how can women and disabled people protest, get their rights in a peaceful way? So in a peaceful way, is this your question? Is this okay? Yeah? Okay. That's the issue. Korea. Korea la nyota chikchun yasade khain sena da puno yenchi gitawa shuchimbu yinsade ane kyonchen gimila yenchi gitawa yan shuchimbu yinsade chezang tanda pumu tso dan kyonchen mi la madira wambu kyonchen dezo mogo chi yesara konso topdan raya gi chedu topdan dan wambu kyonchen topdan raya la mogo che yere inaya buda wambu kyonmengyo denzo konso di ducha zigiyore konso sewe cheba zigiyore mogo che yadi chezang tanda pumu dan wambu kyonchen denzo topdan raya la shide gi tane kanje chena ane yaksare.
That's all. That Tambotella and the Tanda Gishi in the Motsami concert Nibrata Sonar cheese, like Jambo Tilla, Lenza. Kayimba in a young Tambotella. 家长做的这个就父母引这个大话当，俺那我们经济因为的这个差不多，但是都是全部有把的做这样搞这个蛮当嘛的，是那个上次这边呢，米几点跟的细着的，也不没人送啥，这个当年用过来什么米几点，俺也米快也米，我说怎么米把几点跟的细的米不得，也不去搞啥，也一当拖呢，还这个偏多去用过来什么的，当不得。
Well, first of all of the Kusha hearers, if they also want to answer your question, I please invite them to speak their minds, not only myself. But what I think is that this discrimination against that's now present in Korea against women and against disabled people originates from the fact that human beings do not see each other as equals. You know, we're all human beings, and they see each other in terms of the gender or in terms of their physical abilities or mental abilities, instead of seeing each other in terms of being equal as human beings.
야, 맨날 여러분 제가 되는 송주가디 나는 담보데, 단다 특히 담제 시기 나눠야 돼. 영서 요래가 좀 미치기. 근두시자 등이 버터 기체머리에서 내 말이 맞으니 나 지지지 빼나 추득바이 마이나야 나 지지지 추득바지 나 지기 매이 다들 나신 거 다기 나시지 나 부이 고보고 나 원부 배 상황이 고 원부 견제를 네가 연지 그 삼로도 시체모지 요 송단이 다들 되니 되니 그 배용라도 용되게 그래.
Normally, His Holiness says that it's very important to see the oneness of humanity and to cultivate this view of everyone being the same. We're all same as being human beings, so cultivating the view of oneness of humanity is very important. However, normally we tend to discriminate, for example, in terms of religion by saying, oh, I'm a Buddhist or I'm a Christian or I'm a Muslim, or make discriminations in terms of I'm a woman or I'm a man, or discriminate in terms I'm disabled or I am abled.
어야. 자자들이 성산이 다 도다 너들 샤바이나 들이가 연제게 그래요. 삼로 구수 도보. 부장님 몰라 삼로 다 마시바지. 오데네도 지그 토니 아니 다 주어데 강에데 용구요 성사 딱 당보를 마 당보데 무슨 미치게 그 시자데 하진 그 기침보지 차대 그래.
Therefore, I believe that since this discriminating view originates from the inability of seeing the oneness of our humanity, and also from a very narrow state of mind, and a mind that's not able to think in the long run, is only thinking in the short run, the first thing we must cultivate is the view of the oneness of humanity. This is the first thing I think we should cultivate.
단 두소인바이나 양아조지 부모 인지 그 따와서야 두소 매번 수업을 제발이야 양아조지 빼 소소지 가서 조반로도 양디 빼나 지 초가다 범인이 버리리 바이나 아니 더 많이 바래서 기능에 갈아줘서 가르치는 게 님아 딱 갈아줘고 산이 캐는 거 소서 딘디그 남골라 하진 빼 가서 아주 도당 보고 요즘 딘디그 양상로식 전부터 기샤바이나 양 강에 차노고 딘디 딱 말이 딜링원에 전에 다기나시지니 윤서 삼로다 다 딘디그 삼로 당바이나 딜음 디그 나와라 개변 가라 연구도와 부모 예지진 디그 따와듯이 지목이나 딜음 디그 나와는 참고도 참고면도 맞좀 미인 송사 내남진데 라도 맞좀 고체모 디나나 라바 쳔모 여바 나시도 삼로 쳔모 요 송사 미버도 맞좀 삼모 미버도 당고 그래서 셰르페죠 당고 그래서 셰르페죠 당위도 부인나야 셰르페죠 당 부모인나야 셰르페죠 당위 더니 아니 지간이 팬도도 저 삼로당 저쪽라 간이 팬도 뒤에 삼로당고에 뺏기치모.
However, I think that the way to further women's rights is not through fighting with each other, creating this animosity women and now create a big fight and you do this and I do that and I always cook and you never cook, so you better cook tomorrow and create a big fight about it, because then it might further the problem might become bigger. So I think it's important that, like I mentioned before, since we're human beings and we have a big head with a big brain, we're able to think in a vast way. So we should use our wisdom to analyze all of the reasonings why women and disabled people must have equal rights, and both men and women and both able people and disabled people, they should use the wisdom and their intelligence together to think about all of the benefits of all being considered the same and having the same rights.
다 상지 전에 내가 맞절라 가만히 가서 송요래 르무스 아니 드박수 근데 다들 송자리 또나 르브라고 대신 도면으로 다 되게 다기 나지 지나 인지가 상을 수 말해서 수도 가르에서 되게 나지 가서 로종나 냠내 수레스 어디서 뭐지
And in fact, Buddha
일라저도 배편도시고
And in fact, Buddha Shakyamuni, in his teachings, he already said that we should not consider the caste, before in India there was this caste system, right? We should not consider the lineages or the caste system as the most important thing, but rather it's about the practice and the qualities that each of us develop. And I think this is he said that we should not discriminate because of being one thing or the other, but rather we should look at the qualities that individuals develop.
이나제 다기 전지가 나나 송소 다다시한도 냠바네스 다라진 참아 지바레스다 내가 그지 다기 맨나 원보 참아선 그저 내가 그들이로 지켜버리마도 저는 그 전에 가서 랑신세는 문제 지가 지켜레스 그 대원도 봐 등원문도 봐 제가 조금만 직당 가서 지바레서 그랬더니 파쇼더니 범에다 지금 되네 원보 견제랑 가서 통초 가르치는 제고 아주 남이 전부 나를 납치하다 가려야지 조금마다 많이 집어 지경래 가르치는 아니 대원도 봐 등원문도 봐 지와에서 콜레야 만지대 대본 참고진이 대고 왔는데 뭐 조금만 소리는 대본 참고진이 코로 녀마치 마도 대하면 대코로나랑 완전히 자다가 대고래 코로나랑 완전히 당신은
And just like I mentioned before, the path of the way of the Bodhisattva, Shantideva, we're all equal, wishing for happiness and not wishing so for something. It makes no sense to discriminate among each other, among ourselves. For example, disabled people are just disabled temporarily, in this life. If we look in the long run, we will all change bodies. There is no reason why we should discriminate. They wish to be happy. Able people wish to be happy. Disabled people do not wish to suffer, and able people do not wish to suffer. Therefore, it makes no sense to discriminate. And Buddhist texts that even suffer deserve our respect, and they deserve the freedom to and alleviate their suffering. Therefore, if an ant deserves our respect, obviously human beings, of course.
내가 부모님지 그 삼로식 지모 요대니도서 그렇죠 내급 때다 원모 전제라 되니까 통종 제대니도서 그런 내급다 네 가서 쳐놓고 샤다 리반 내려다 그런 원모 용서 좀 창요지래다 이마에는 그 삼로 원모만 상을 차대 그러다 뭐네 삼로 되니 그 소도 삼로 비자지 그런 거 삼로 원모만 상을 차대 그래야 원모만 상을 못 차대 오늘 가서 삼로다 저랑 리본 얘는 저런 거 삼로 당당 빼대가 원모만 상을 지금 삼로 차대
And we could even argue that those people that have a strong grasping to discriminating ideas against women and against disabled people, we can say that even though they might have complete bodies, so they're not disabled in that sense, they're mentally disabled because the discriminating view is a disabling view, so they're mentally disabled in a way. If the other dishes have you have thoughts on this topic?
And Nabi Yoro, the Pamikutopa, and Libato Borendo. Any Tersanto Payapolo, child is in the put a year of trial and because on top of change and the Corso top Arajo. Don't I want to change Palan cover? Okay, Mountain, Mamma Chesa, normally Lake Chini Pomo Galamando. On that, he cut the Corpo Motors of Jinka, they are son Java, Mama Pomotors of Genita, Namas of the country changing. Much is at a share show, the Mashi gets the knowledge of the Liana Sama Pomos and Saris. Nous ont été pendant des parties au Mozambique, que j'ai remonté une ranging, pour ce que Maguni les gens de Tendiciri. Sont ça. C'est son dans le soso, un gay carrière, des cricket, que j'ai moi, ça fait une affaire de Yama, soso, les cas menga tangen sama, qui j'en ai que le renvoi de ranging, les gens à tirer dans le courant de la partie. So, then, you're done on
In terms of history, we can see how in Europe, before, historically, women also lacked same rights as men. And it's said that it's not that the rights were given to them, they had to take the rights, they had to fight for the rights. And gradually, as they earned the same rights as men, they were able to introduce themselves in the workforce, so they were able to do the same jobs and access the same type of education and therefore develop the same skills. So this shows that it's not that inherently men and women are different, but when they're given equal opportunity, they're able to develop the same skills. However, I think that it's important that, for example, now the situation in Korea, that also women go and they assume their responsibility for their own rights, not fighting against other people, against men or against people that do not agree, but still going for their rights and assuming the responsibility for that.
Nyota yosa tsute karsala tamburi nana. Ni susu ta chipat avsham tuli gwa salo tango da chum kichi. Susu kara gona avsham tuli te gwa te. Salo tani leka kara lena. Ni susu tibo ma pe ina yoma. Ti nauja tana nga tu kumon dranyo zayate ya. Susu guni shigjar. Susu guni lo doche gona yarak choza karchena susu kamba gona ladon sudang khonchang chito. Te tawshi yakshut tari.
Then Gela says that he believes that that the main problem comes from when we think that what I need, others don't need. So I need this and this I keep for myself. And however, the other one doesn't need that, so I'm not going to give the opportunity. So I think that it's important that each individual person takes responsibility for their own action and tries to do their work as good as possible and assume their responsibility as good as possible. So then no one can really say anything against them because they're already doing properly their job.
That debate, that again goes on debate, was on Nibel Salo Tango Education. Carres Pena Wombo Junji and Wombo Junji is in a Suzu, Livo de Kyo, de Jumson, the Suzu Semia thing of the Shuji de Divina, Suzu Kangi or the Lang Tugumarva. Pena Tisan is only Latin. Nicaragua in the Tindipe, looked at Chambot in the quarantine goes to Jenny, Corondan Tembic, the Wombo Junji to Rigni, Legat to Canipita was over. Just a Wombo Junji by the Suzu same ship to Chamashoni, lost up the Shichimu Kenny, the Javaina. Suzu me, Wombo Yonsu over Tanya, the cheaper chicken legacy to will. Then I think we may say that again someone Nashi money, Rano Susu Log Jonji, Rano so lega Karak Yimba in the Tito Shigam Nidoina, not to Pansi Soba Momo Yamugoji, Rano Susu Niba, Tonanga to Niba Pechotango. Mazula Ludan same Niki Chan, Mazu, Niba Chiba Chicken, Dina Yove Kane, Niba Chiba Chicken Yori, Niba the Susu Pecho Tamada. This was a sister of Niba the Pecho Tam Shivaji, Chevaina, Gangi Wodi, Hatu.
And Ishila says, I really agree with what Ranrik said, where we should not just feel discouraged just because, like for example, disabled people, they might feel, oh, I'm disabled, I don't have the same abilities as others, so I'm just going to stay here sad and discouraged and I'm not going to do anything about it. Instead of that, instead of feeling discouraged, we take on courage, and nowadays we can see, for example, blind people who go to universities and they earn the same degrees than able people who can actually see. If like that woman, for example, instead of feeling discouraged and feeling that they're not able to do something for themselves, they take on this courage and they go on and do whatever they wish to do, then slowly, gradually, both men and women will end up having equal rights. Georgie, is it?
Oh,
Different question.
Sure.
There's something I've been struggling with, which is in my current state, I don't have a clear mind. So I don't know whether my interventions, my attempts to help reduce the suffering of all beings, let's say, especially specific instances that might come up in day-to-day life, helping friends or whatever comes up, I might do it unskillfully. And there's been many cases where people have done a lot of damage to the world actually with completely pure good intentions, just because their perspective is limited. They're not yet enlightened. So in this lifetime, is it better than just to become a monk or something like this? Because it takes a lot of practice to have anything like the perspective to do lasting good, maybe. There's this phrase, the blind leading the blind, or in the Bible they say, this is a bit strong, but in the Bible they say the road to hell can be paved with good intentions. And yeah, it's a strong phrase, but
Intentions.
anyway, and sometimes you even see cases of mothers who obviously absolutely have unconditional love for their children, making some intervention which ends up causing their child harm from the purest of intentions. So this is my question.
That's it. I'll try to translate that saying of the Bible. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, maybe soften it. I don't know.
Gishila, da nga yimba yina da semchen tangchila roba chegores, yago chegores, chidang anzo desigi ba yina. Nga yimba yina nga rangi sem da shirab me songzang, ani shenla kandre roba chego yeme kapudes chadire, peche nga kunno yabo chi kiene roba chia tashi chi ye ine konle yaga cheya gitsala, pento cheya gitsala, peche Nobel ke sigirwa. Chezang na da pugyang rimbo tom matu yin songzang ane peche tse dila nga kushu chena peche yaga mendro kain sena tandaran da ngarangi semji nedan la tawa gina peche senje mambola pendo chetu samare da lapsu ngazela chigila lapsu chigire ane longwa michila longwa shemala chiwa nanshin dago longwa ane lapsu yishugi tanda tambe teti yerwa Bible nanglo la karesu midu lamna nyewe ale peche bebatso ngale yaga la tuba yina nyewala ane nyewala longa chigere longa di ane kuno yabo itone so shagyu chigres tuslona no the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
That's it.
Kande gishila bosa and you ane ya amakashi susupula zewa kazu yena yan samsala korang da shirab samsala mebe tone korangi bugula yang neba kesirwa cheta re do dire
다다리 다처럼 잡아서니 전에 다다랑 잡아 제나 야무도.
You're right. If you want to become a monk, you can become a monk right now in this instant.
다 좋아?
Do you agree? Are you certain you want to become a monk?
다 좋은데 그다 대처리시. 나 잡아서 나 약살에서 저런 대처리시.
It seems that your wish to become a monk is just, from here. It's just it's not. It hasn't reached your heart yet. It's just from here.
Okay.
네, 저런 잡아서 나 약살에서 니나니 주 고래모도 네 정한 잡아서 대 야고 왔다왜
The wish to become a monk, he's joking by the way. The wish to become a monk needs to come from the heart, not just mere words.
건다
Sorry.
그래서 잡아 제가 제모 다 제모 제가 드니 고미요 송사 내가 저는 제모
He's apologizing. He's saying we monks have the habit of teasing each other, so I'm just teasing you.
다들 돌아가는 삼선도 쉬고이나 동보들이야 지금 장라 편도 제바다 드니 뭐는 인지 그 지금 잡아 제고에로도 드니 요래면서나 요만해서
So, first of all, there is no need to become a monk in order to benefit others.
드니다 맞죠 가르치나 잘라 세워지나 잘라 로바지나 지금 소바고나 가르치바이나 대다 냠도 셰럽도 메나 저런 거라 내가 나오네 고 대다 냠도 셰럽고 쪽도 메와 있나 가르 임바이나 야 지금 소소공원이 지금 로바로 임바이 지금 상비요바이나야 하셔다야 노바 템로야 돼 니네 공부지 용구요 소사 말서 가르치바이나 셰럽 쪽 요구야 뺏기지 못하대.
And what you're saying is you're absolutely right. Like whenever we try to help someone, or if we try to help someone through love, or try to practice patience with someone, if we do not accompany these practices with wisdom, then instead of benefiting that person, we might harm that person. That's why accompanying these good intentions with wisdom is so important.
이번에나 가서 까까래야 샬라 로바세디 가나 지금 지라 카드 페이지 봐서 로바 제고에는 어디에 삼로던 것도 대만이다. 소소고 동바 야보 지초 소소 투노도 장마지 공부해야 샬라 로바 차대요. 샬라 로바 차대.
However, sometimes we think that in order to help others, we need to do all these sort of things, and sometimes just washing our face and wearing clean clothes is already helping others.
가르에서 제가 동바 야보 들로 장마 트니 되는 지와이는 치도 sol에 지마하고 말와. 지마 마카나 내가 되는 바쇼들라 로바 지고 뭐도 제가 지마 섭섭섭섭 지니 로바 냠도 미냠도 도와이나 바쇼도 참아배 나가. 누가 징도 제가
Because if in the morning, before you go out and spend time with others, you wash your face and you wear clean clothes with a clean body, obviously, you won't smell. So this is a benefit for others. You won't harm others with your smell. Otherwise, others will have to stand or bear your smell. Therefore, already cleaning yourself and presenting yourself clean when you're in the company of others, it's already helping others because you're not harming them.
다 나신게 저런 그 리글 초대 칼라도 소이나 소소라 카운 초바드자 아니 지금 카운 초바다 마사와 되는 집에는 저런 그 릴라 나사용마 저런 그 릴라 나사마나 저런 그 나미다 저런 그 아니 지금 조보조보네 강이용마 맹강은 조고 뭐라 맹강 조마고는 디기야 샹달라 로바 제투고르다 무슨 총산이 상도 담바이나
And we can also think of caring for one's own health as benefiting others, because if you know that certain types of food are good for you and others are not, and you take responsibility for your own nourishment and you eat what is good for you and you don't eat what is not good for you, you will have good health, which means you won't get ill, which means if you don't get ill, you won't need family and friends having to accompany you to hospital and spend money and time. So this is a way to think of personal well-being as the well-being of others.
단 돌디샤바이나 샬라 로바다 샬라 지편도 제발이야 너무 몰래야 소소도 니가 치고 제고 그러면도 소소 니가 치고 맞이나 뭐네 샬라 로바 제도 말이야 왜 나가주디 가르자디 도지 올라사사디 담봉원에 콜라 메 다다사니 되니 건다 되니 제나 콜라 바르디 가나고 아니 몸만도 서터 거면 콜라 로치니 마사니 아니 도지 키로 되어이나 펜도 깨고 중도 도지 코로나 로야 뭐지사 아니 건다 나코나 키는 디지니가 아니 거기 다다션 사마서 두고도 어제다 파쇼고 몸바도 새로 제발다 동원래야 도지나가 메디하고 지사고 베데나신 하루 저희 바이나야 소소가 잘라 펜도지 삼바도지 바이 펜도 가르고 돈이 펜도지 삼바이나데 동원래 소소가 데서 삼마데 장 소소가 냠냠 사니 아니 잘라 펜도 제산 로와이나 비다 보용 거래 맞아, 맞아. 까까래 초라로 지금 돈 미소 상마가 샬라 벤도 지고 그러지. 가서 벤도 지고 살이는데 초라 왕긴 로샤바 있나? 벤도 지 두고만. 어디 이걸 가서 상마당고. 오늘 뒤쪽에 누워서.
Therefore, whenever we feel like helping others, it's important that first we acquire the necessary skills or power to help others. It's, for example, if you go at night with a torch, but you haven't charged the batteries of that torch, you won't be able to shed light anywhere. So first you need to charge the batteries, and then use the torch at night. So it's important that whenever we think of helping someone, it's not just out of like an impulse, you know, sometimes we get this impulse, it's good to help others, if I'm gonna go and help others, but rather to really think, okay, how can I help others? Do I have the experience? And if I don't have the experience, first I need to earn that experience and then go on and help others.
심전 단절 펜도세 되다 맞아 잡아지네 정말 펜도요 다 소소 제아주데 니 다소소 레카즈 레나 카르치네 테 라지니가 펜도와디 레토나 레칸트소 레칸라 펜도를 코로라 펜도를 내가 저 정말 텐데지니 펜도제 텐데니 잠인 로고르노 정말 펜도제들 맞아 스크루 제토마로 테 역쇼 카르차가마 맞아 저한테 텐데레스 ni lo chuchu tene ko maze leka le ni choni ni chuchi sara ko ta ti leka le jo le chuchi ya thapshi kare yo besi ko to thora ta ta so le ga leka le jo rajini ka le pe leka le to ni chore churi le le ja ma to ja ta chma do o te ni te yakshoti o ta jaba che le ga so domba su re no samal pen to sa ka le ka bora ni sa lo ya to
Yella said that it's very difficult to benefit everyone. However, instead of thinking or aspiring to, at the beginning, to benefit everyone, we can try to benefit oneself by benefiting others in whatever type of activity we engage in. And there was a question that came up in the previous question answer session, where someone says, I don't have time to practice the Dharma because I need to go to work. And then I said, well, it was said that if you whenever you go to work, you take a job that is of benefit for others, and when you do something, you do it with the motivation of benefiting others, that benefits others and benefits yourself, even if you don't benefit everyone at the same time. So I believe this is how we should think about it. To whatever we engage in, try to carry the motivation of benefiting others, and that will also benefit oneself.
그래서 니들 이제 가지마도 좀 먹어. 만들면 여기 손자들이 담지 교사한테 좀 먹어 치라. 이 손자. 근데 주디는 영 계시어 되게 좋습니다. 나디노라 게 보고가서 드리고 디소데 니 제도니 맞춰 폴라 손나 냐차비 디소. 늘리지 갑살요. konsancho ani zabli jidi zonta raba tinde ndo de sunbi po murila ya ti ni jidi ra son ti che dani ko ri zombo ji rabati gawi so to chu so sonre don nyam de yoga no ji son des te to ani su chi so de ge joje de chamci peyon chamci gomtsu no tani de Lordana chamsi la tene lese videton yo lese videton gona jekal gona zan chamsi gona sa ti tonna ni je she sibu pe non so teliani tabani tiji chi she ye ni tada di shenda ni tri ni ya zamki tsoma de ya ni ga je tuju ni de peba de ya so ji di zo samchi ni tsoma ya piche no karenchi mambalina te te je ni je chodo.
So this speech marks the end of this event. So we've come here as a brief how do you say I forgot the word in English. Like resume, not resume. anyway, it's like as a brief explanation of what happened here today, like a synopsis of what happened here today. We got together because we're commemorating the 35th anniversary of the Nobel Peace Prize given to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. We talked at the beginning also about the difficult situation that Tibetan people are going through. So in that way, we also celebrate the wish for freedom of Tibet and the Tibetan people. And during this get together, Geshe-la talked about love and compassion, about what's the nature of love and compassion, the benefits, and how to meditate. We meditated together, and then we had a brief session of question and answer. And I want to thank all of you for coming here today. And I want to wish or ask you that please come here whenever you. I hope that you come back here, and thank all of you for coming.
그리고 송신단에서 제일 참치콜을 이거 소만은 이제 말서 그것도 그냥 제 성도통하고 참치가 뭐 넘버 소만이 저래야 코니 페이니 말론도 마음발이나 니 참치티 이제 인자를 이제 수술이나 주고 되모요 맞아 아니 티 기차라테니 호산 쳤으비 맞아 지딘도 저도요 말레 태주 지라 아니 요이 아니 뭔데 티치노.
And just like Geshe-gyaltsen mentioned, we should try to practice love and compassion, continue to cultivate love and compassion every single day, now that we know what the nature of love and compassion is. And since we understand that this is the way that peace will come about in the world, by cultivating love and compassion every day. And in this occasion, we also wish and pray for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now you can chill and have some hot water, some tea, whatever you like.